Baltimore Orioles vs Texas Rangers. The Orioles have had solid balance on the season, so far ranking 5th in the majors in runs scored and 6th in team era. In their last game before the break, they beat the Yankees 6-5, and in losing their 6 games before that, they struggled at the dish, only totaling 4 runs. Rising star and all-star Gunnar Henderson .286 28 HR 63 RBI ranks 3rd in baseball in HR, but was slumping before the break with 1 HR and 3 RBI in the last 10 games. This is the first game for both teams after the All-Star break for both teams. The Orioles have lost 5 of 6 games and the Rangers have won 7 of their last 9 games. Baltimore is tied for the most wins in the AL, while Texas is 4 games under .500. Burns has given up a total of 5 runs in his last 2 starts, and the Orioles lost both, where they only totaled 3 runs. On the other side of the coin, the Rangers have won Eovaldi's last 3 starts, where he only gave up a total of 3 runs. Both starters will pitch well in this game, but at home, the Rangers will get some clutch hits, and they will win the opener of this series for their 3rd win in a row. My team pick is Rangers to win. The Rangers were playing well before the break, winning their last 2 games and going 7-2 in their last 9 games. The team ranks 15th in the majors in team era and 17th in runs scored. Marcus Semien .24 213 HR 51 RBI leads the team in at-bats and RBI, and has 2 HR and 7 RBI in 11 games this month. Corey Seager .270 18 HR 48 RBI leads the club in RBI and ranks 2nd in RBI and has 3 HR and 11 RBI this month. On the season, Texas is 2-4-2-1 at home, and they lost 3 of 4 games facing the Orioles on the road in their 5th to last series before the break. When these teams met a few weeks ago, the total went over in 3 of the 4 games, but I am leaning towards the under in this game. The main reason is the pitching matchup between 2 solid starters. On top of that, neither lineup was tearing it up before the break, as the Orioles totaled 10 runs in their last 6 games, and the Rangers totaled 9 runs in their last 4 games. Burns gave up 5 runs in his last 2 starts, and only gave up 1 run in a win against the Rangers late in the first half. Eovaldi only gave up 3 runs total in his last 3 starts. This game will be more of a pitcher's duel, so it will be a low-scoring affair, which means the under is the pick. My total pick is under 8.5 runs. Cardinals vs Atlanta Braves. Cardinals need to improve a bit on the offensive side of the game, as they are 19th in MLB, with a .694 team ops while averaging 4.15 runs per game. They need to improve at being patient at the plate, as they are tied with the Minnesota Twins for 19th place with 279 total walks drawn. Right fielder Alec Burleson has been hitting well, as he has a .814 ops with 17 homers, 53 RBI, 41 runs scored and 7 steals on 9 attempts. The Atlanta Braves have been a decent offensive team this year, as they are 14th in the majors with a .709 team ops while scoring 4.28 runs per game thus far. Their power stroke has been a bit better, as they are tied with the Cleveland Guardians, San Diego Padres and Seattle Mariners for 10th place with 109 total home runs. Designated hitter Marcell Ozuna has been hitting extremely well, as he is posting a .960 ops with 26 home runs, 77 RBI and 58 runs scored. When looking at the last 7 starts for both of these pitchers, there is a bit of a difference, as Sonny Gray is 2-3 with a 3.80 ERA and a 1.05 WHIP in 42.2 innings, while Spencer Schwellenbach is 3.33 with a 4.31 ERA and a 1.16 WHIP in 39.2 innings over that span. Throughout the last 24 games for both teams, these offenses show a divide, as well as the Cards are scoring 4.75 runs per game, while the Braves are averaging 3.92 runs per game in that stretch. Go with the Cardinals to win as a road underdog. These teams have 2 of the best bullpens in the majors during the first half of the regular season, as Atlanta is 2nd with a 2.94 reliever era, while St. Louis is 7th with a 3.50 bullpen era right now. The lineup is not producing when it has the advantage, as with runners in scoring position so far, the Cardinals are 29th in the entire sport with a .639 team ops in those situations, while the Braves are 19th with a .736 team ops with runners in scoring position. Go with under 7.5 runs in this game as the better bet here. San Diego Padres vs Cleveland Guardians. San Diego has played 99 games, and I think they'll gladly take their current 5-0-4-9 record, considering all of the injuries they fought through to start the year. The Padres are just 1.0 game out of the final wild card spot, and they're priced at 145 to make the postseason, -170 to miss. Luis Arias' thumb and Fernando Tatis' quadriceps should return to the lineup soon, and if this front office, which has made big moves in the past, adds another starting pitcher, the Padres could be live to make a run at the playoffs. There were some questions surrounding the Guardians entering the year since Terry Francona retired, handing the reins to Stephen Vogt. However, Cleveland has had no issue transitioning to a new skipper, as they actually hold the best winning percentage .611 in the American League. At 5.837, the Guardians also hold a 4.5 game lead over the Twins in the AL Central. Cleveland's priced at -185 to win the division, while Minnesota's 210. This should be a fun matchup to get the second half of the MLB season going, but this is a spot where I've backed the Guardians a bunch this year. They're the league's second-best team, Oakland, at 7-2 when playing as a home favorite, going an impressive 289.757 win percentage. Furthermore, the Padres limped to the All-Star break, finishing an abysmal 1-6 down the stretch. One of the issues with the Padres right now is their injuries. They're loaded with star power, but they'll likely be without Luis Arias day-to-day with a thumb injury and Fernando Tatis Jr. 10-day ill with quadriceps injury. San Diego's going to need all of the offense it can get, as they're averaging only 2.4 runs per game over the 1-6 run. They're also running into Tanner Bybee 3.77 era and a Cleveland bullpen that's first in both relief era 2.62 and whip 1.06. Take Cleveland Guardians moneyline. While San Diego's offense struggled leading up to the break, they do have one big edge here. They're facing Bybee, and the current lineup is 8 to 18.444 against him with a .977 OPS. Interestingly, the right-hander sees his ERA increase to 4.69 at home. I don't expect San Diego to go nuclear offensively, but I think they'll score enough to help push us over the total. Furthermore, both of these pitchers have conceded at least 3 earned runs in each of their last 2 starts. Waldron 4, 3 Bybee 4. Neither starter is in dominant form, and we have a couple of offenses that are loaded with talent. San Diego is 8th in road scoring this year, 4.67 RPG, while Cleveland is 3rd in home scoring, 5.12 RPG. This total should probably be closer to a flat 8.0 runs, which suggests that we're getting great value at just 7.5 minus 114. Take over 7.5 runs. New York Mets vs Miami Marlins. Entering the second half of the season, the New York Mets find themselves where they anticipated, occupying the 3rd wild card spot in the National League. Despite the slim chances of winning the NL East, with the Phillies running away and the Braves imping behind them, their postseason aspirations remain intact. However, this perspective glosses over the turbulent path they've taken to reach this point. A dismal May saw the Mets plummet to 11 games below .500, raising fears of another lost summer in Queens. Yet, an invigorated June flipped the script, rekindling hope and transforming them into a team poised for an October push. With the second half kicking off against Miami, the Mets face critical questions about their trade deadline strategy. 6 weeks ago, the Mets appeared destined to be sellers, with key players like Pete Alonso potentially on the block. However, their remarkable turnaround since June has shifted the outlook significantly. Even a poor stretch leading up to the trade deadline may not compel Stearns and the front office to offload assets. The Miami Marlins suck again, currently holding the worst record in the National League. As the trade deadline approaches, the Marlins are expected to make significant moves, trading away their top performers. This anticipated sell-off will likely see key players like Tanner Scott, Brian De La Cruz, and Jazz Chisholm in different uniforms by August. The Yankees, with their bullpen in shambles, are particularly interested in Scott. Despite a strong first half from closer Clay Holmes, his recent struggles necessitate a reliable addition. Scott, boasting a 1.41 ERA and 45 strikeouts in 40.1 innings, would be a crucial acquisition for New York, aligning perfectly with their win-now mentality. Brian De La Cruz, with his power-hitting capabilities and versatility as a corner outfielder and DH, would be a great fit for a team looking for depth, contract flexibility, and a slugger. His contract running through 2027 provides anyone with long-term stability. First, the Mets are entering the second half of the season with momentum, having finished the first half with a strong 7-2 record. This surge in performance indicates a team that has found its rhythm and is capable of continuing this success. In contrast, the Marlins are struggling, holding the worst record in the National League at 33-63. Their poor performance and decision to be sellers at the trade deadline underscore their instability and lack of focus on immediate competitiveness. Additionally, the Mets have a significant advantage in terms of roster stability and talent. With key players returning to form and the team occupying the final wild card spot, they are highly motivated to win and solidify their playoff position. The Marlins, meanwhile, are looking to offload their best performers like Tanner Scott, Brian De La Cruz, and Jazz Chisholm, which could further weaken their lineup and pitching staff, making them even more vulnerable. Moreover, the Mets' recent offensive surge, where they have averaged over 6 runs per game since the end of May, highlights their ability to dominate weaker teams. Their top performers, such as Francisco Lindor and Brandon Nimmo, have been in excellent form, driving the team's success. On the other hand, the Marlins' lackluster offense and overall poor performance make it unlikely they can match the Mets' firepower. Take New York Mets also take the over 8.5 runs.